And I think that several people have mentioned this. When all of the political parties can work together, I talked earlier about coordination. Well, how about coordination on a specific issue? The hallmark of democracy is that we argue, and we should, about what's right, what's wrong, what plans we have. But there are certain things. Can anybody argue against, let's try and deal with poverty? Yeah, that'd be kind of hard. We could come together on that. I also want to say a word about public servants. You know, in politics, an easy target. Hey, let's get rid of public servants. They don't do anything. They just sit there. And look at YTG. Oh, my God. Don't do a thing. Well, let's get out of that. And to those of you who are public servants, I want to say, tell people what you do and be proud of it. Because you are public servants. And the public deserves good ones. And if you're here today, you're one of them. So whether you're a deputy minister, an assistant deputy minister on the front line, be proud of what you do. And when people go into that stupid rant, which we seem to find so endearing in the Yukon and elsewhere, just as an example, I remember when I was MP, well, Hugh, maybe this is one we wouldn't agree with. There was a big cutback in the civil service. And everybody said, yay, they're gone, those layabouts, they don't do anything. And then they would come to my office and say, well, I call them and nobody's there. Yeah, that's what it means. That's why it's called public service. So, I think that you should know that we appreciate your work. Those of us who aren't public servants, because I know that it's always tough, never easy, and for the most part, you all do a great job within the limitations that you are given. So, you know, there's a lot of cynicism about this workshop out there. Some people see this social inclusion as a form of rebranding. We're just calling the same old thing by a new name, and we're not going to do nothing. Well, you can prove them wrong. You can prove them wrong. Secondly, I think looking at ourselves, and I include me, in every action that we do, performing a volunteer task, helping out on something, let's just look at ourselves, whether we're professionals or professional volunteers or whatever we are, and just ask ourselves, are we propping up a dysfunctional system, or are we making it better? It's a hard question. And in fact, it's one of the reasons I went into politics, because I felt that what I was doing, this was in Toronto, hopefully was useful, but that there are structural issues, there may be rules, regulations, or it may just be personality issues that were keeping people out. Again, and many others have talked about the face of poverty. And maybe we could just stop and talk to that person on the street. Andy's going to take somebody out for lunch. We have to find out where that real nice place is he's going to go. It is Whitehorse, after all. Sorry. But we aren't talking about numbers and statistics and Vicky's pie chart people. We're talking about real people. Most of you weren't last night there at the reception. Maybe you weren't invited. I was. And Todd made a really good point. That when you see a person on the street who's obviously having a hard time, or you know a person that is having a hard time, they were children once. And they had a mother, and they had a father, and they're real people. And it's so easy to forget that. I know it is for me, and others just going to walk by and think, oh God, no, he's not going to come up to me, and you know. But we start to have the conversation. And again, it's a small thing, but in my view, it's an important thing. Finally, random acts of kindness. It's a cliche, I know. Sometimes cliches have something to say. You know, we tend to concentrate on the individual, but we also need to look at community wellness. And whether as a community, we're a healthy community. And I know it sounds trite, but what if we each did one thing that was a kindness every day? Take somebody out to lunch. Say hello and talk to them. Talk to the clerk in the store. Whatever. I don't think we can underestimate that. And I know we're growing short of time. I'll just give one quick example. When I was at that Lawrence Heights project that I mentioned, there was a very fine person there who was our, quote, client, but she was really our colleague. And I saw her many years later. And she said, you know, I just really remember when you were there. And I thought, oh, my brilliant counseling skills. Oh, I was so good. She said, I remember the day that you came to my house and scrubbed my floor. And I did. I went there because it wasn't mentioned in the Master of Social Work curricula, but she was freaking. She had it. She'd had it with the kids. She'd had it with everything. And she had to go to the doctor. And that was the thing that was killing her. My floor is dirty, my floor is dirty. Well, it's a small thing, but she didn't remember my brilliant, educated counseling, but she remembered that. And you know what she did? She went out and scrubbed somebody else's floor. So I think those small kindnesses are extremely important. Again, I hope that those who initiated the workshops will really be able to take action. I know it's not easy. And small actions make a very big impact. We can do modeling here. We can do it. And if we can't do it here, it can't be done. So my message is, get mad. Best way to get even is to do it right. Thank you very much.
So get mad. Get it right. Say, hell yeah! Right?
That's it.
Let's hear it. Hell yeah!
Yeah,
Louder than that. All right. Well, what can I say? It was totally awesome, right? Excellent. Panel members, you are more than welcome to say what you wish at this point. I know Rick does some wonderful things. Ross, all of you. Awesome. You're welcome.
Audrey said something that sort of made my stomach drop a little bit, and talking about institutionalization. And I work for a nonprofit, and I felt like when I started the job, we're the antithesis of institutionalization. We're the grassroots effort. And over time, I've been feeling very restricted by funding. Words that I've really come to hate, and they're always followed in parentheses, and those are funding pots and mandates. And it takes a really long time to build a rapport with a client and have them trust you and respect them as a person, and they respect you and your space. And just to send them from one organization to the next organization because we don't meet that mandate. We can only help you for employment and education because all of our funding is earmarked. And I'm really sorry I can't go to court with you. And I know that you've just given me the worst story of the worst thing that happened in your life. But can you go and repeat it to 4 other agencies in town now? Because I don't want to do that. And so it's looking at the structure of the organization and